Om. 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 Sahana bhavatu, Sahana bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karvavahe, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, so let us try and complete the verses and hopefully, we never say we complete the Gita. You always complete it and restart it again. The idea, because you can never say, oh, I have done the Gita. You know, and I remember when I used to give people who were with me for 4.5 years and completed the Gita, I would give them a certificate. But I would, in that certificate, I would say, you've only done the theory, the practice you have to do in your life, because that is something that I cannot do for you. So again, I say the verse 57 of the 18th chapter, mentally resigning all your duties to me and taking recourse to yoga in the form of even-mindedness, be solely devoted to me and constantly give your mind to me. By giving your mind, I meant awareness, and here the key word is even-mindedness. What is even-mindedness? Actually, even-mindedness is, in my mind, of course, it's not don't eat too much, don't eat too less, do not sleep too much, do not sleep too less, but have no rag dvesh, not necessarily have a like and dislike. Do not criticize and do not judge. If you understand your own mind, things will start working. Okay, the next verse, which is 58. And Krishna says, with your mind thus given to me, you shall tide over all difficulties by my grace. And if from egotism you will not listen, you will be lost. He says that if you give your mind to me, you shall tide over all the difficulties by my grace. Because, you know, if you give your mind to him, then he will be the doer. You will not be the doer. So when he is the doer, because you've given him the mind, then he will take care, he will tide over all your difficulties. But if you are egoistic and you do not want to give your mind and you will not listen, you will be lost. 59. If taking your stand on egotism, you think I will not fight, vain is this resolve of yours, nature will drive you in the act. Because, you know, here you notice that Arjun does not want to fight. He doesn't want to fight. So if you say, if you take your stand, if you become egoistic and say, I will not fight, this resolve of yours is also useless because your very nature will drive you in the act. See, what is our nature? How does it become our nature? It is out of habit. Whatever, you know, that we have this, we have been told that if you, if at the time of death you think of God, then, I mean, you think of Krishna, you think of God, you will be saved. But you cannot do it unless you have practiced it over the years. It doesn't happen at the last minute. Your attachment will be towards your house, towards your jewels, towards your children, towards your husband, towards everyone else. So it's a question of habit to start giving up as we move along. So he repeats, if taking your mind, if taking your stand on egotism, you think, I will not fight, vain is this resolve, because your nature will drive you to the, why will your nature drive you? Because of what you've done all your life. That has become your habit. But in his case, that habit would be that he's a soldier, probably, and that is his dharma. And you know, Krishna has already explained a lot. So the 18th chapter is basically a lot of, is basically a summary of all that he has said, you know. That's where one can really rush through it because you've heard all these concepts. Next one, that action too which you're not willing to undertake through ignorance, bound by your own duty, born of your nature, you will helplessly perform. Even though you're mentally saying you will not do it, but you will perform it. Now see, there is a lot of this that we have done in details. This is one thing is really, of course, your sanskaras of being a soldier, your sanskaras of everything. And why Krishna is telling this to Arjuna? Because it is to Arjuna, because he feels that he's not being true to himself. He's actually not being true to himself. That is what Krishna feeds. You know that, I mean, otherwise, if he was a true sannyasi, he should just give up everything and go. If you are a sannyasi, then it is your duty to give up everything and go. But as a grahasti, as a person, he has been badly, his wife has been badly humiliated. You know what the Mahabharata is all about. Then at this stage, he's saying that it will make you perform. See, this action too, which you are not willing to undertake through ignorance, bound by your own duty, born of your nature, you will helplessly perform. He said, even if I don't tell you the Gita, you will still do it. It just so happens that I'm your friend, I'm telling you the Gita, but your very nature will make you do it. This is what Krishna is saying. Next one. Arjuna, God abides in the heart of all creatures, causing them to revolve according to their karma by his elusive power, seated as those beings are in the vehicle of the body. Actually, that's what he's saying. He's saying, even though you will do it by your nature, but actually it's God who is within you. See, I'll repeat, Arjuna, God abides in the heart of all creatures. Remember the 15th verse of the 15th chapter? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtu mata smritir jnaranam pohanam cha. He says, I'm in all the Vedas, I'm in all the humans. And remember, he said that whatever you're actually one. So he says, Arjuna, God abides in the heart of all creatures, causing them to revolve according to their karma by his elusive power. His is in capital H. So then you move by your own karmas, I would say by your own sanskaras, which have been created by during your last life. And seated as those beings are in the vehicle of the body, he says, in the next verse, he said, take shelter in him alone. That is Krishna, it's capital H. Take shelter in him alone with all your being, Arjuna. By his mere grace, you shall attain supreme peace and the eternal state. And as I said, you have to understand that this is being said to Arjuna as a soldier. That I have explained in so many details over so many classes, where I've taken only probably one class to probably do just one verse or two. So now in the 18th chapter, you can actually, if you read the 18th chapter every time, everything that has been said in the class will come back to you, you see. And here he is talking about, after having explained everything to him, he's telling him, ab surrender kar do. Take shelter in him alone with all your being, Arjuna. By his mere grace, capital H, you shall attain supreme peace. And see, as I often say to you, as grahastis, your first duty lies towards your home. That's as a soldier, Arjuna's first duty is his in the field. But I also tell you that once you reach the age of 50, 60, your duty is towards you. Haven't I said that very often? You owe something to yourself. You do owe it. At that time, there is no need to cling to your children and well, I mean, of course, do seva of your husband if he requires it. But otherwise, we spend so much time minding other people's business, minding our children's business, minding, so many things business. Just you've done your bit. Let it be, and now give time to yourself.
Beautifully said. I would like you to say it again.
Honestly, Didi, I wanted to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll end up overthinking about certain things which may not be really helpful, but it's the habit of the mind. So please, as Maya said, if you could kindly repeat,
what I'm saying, which I've said in every class, that as a grahasti, your duty is towards yourself primarily. As a grahasti, your duty is towards your husband, your family, your children.
As a
grahasti, that is your duty. But after the age of 50, 55, 60, whether the children are married or whether the children are on their own feet, unless they really, really need you, that's another story. But basically, otherwise, we like the story that we cling to the tree and we are saying the world is not letting us be. But we are clinging to that tree. I'm not saying that for everyone. Everyone's life is different. There are some lives where really the family requires them right up to, their very old age. But as far as possible, it's time to extricate yourself. Not extricate, they have already extricated you. We are clinging to them. We are clinging to their problems. We are clinging. Give advice if advice is seek, but otherwise let them be. This is what I feel, though of course each problem has got its own solutions. So is that okay, Sapna and Maya?
Very well said. I came in the nick of time to hear that.
Beautifully explained, Didi. Beautifully.
Yeah. No, but this always has been heard before. So anyway, I go to the next. Thus has his wisdom more secret than secrecy itself has been imparted to you by me, fully pondering it, do as you like. Now you see, Krishna is telling him now, and very often in the Gita, he always says, I'm giving you a very secret technique. Gopya. Doesn't he always say Gopya? Gopya means secret. He gives you a lot of secrets. And he says, Arjun, I love you. That's why I'm giving you all this gyan. Arjun, I love you. That's why I'm giving you all this gyan. But even now he says, thus has this wisdom more secret than secrecy itself. Because see, in the olden days here, we give Vedanta teachings and all that very openly. You know, but in the olden days, this Gyan and Vedanta and all was given. I mean, they used to call them to the ashram. They say, sweep for 3 years, do seva, and after 3 years, they would give them one Gyan ka stotra. You know, and then after 3 years, again they would give them. And if you hear stories like this, they were there. But today, and that is what Krishna is telling you, I'm giving you all the Gyan in the Gita. I've given it to you, you know. So he says, thus has this wisdom more secret than secrecy itself has been imparted to you by me. Fully pondering it, do as you like. So what do we tell our children? We have told you what you think is right. Now do as you like. But for that, as children, you should have done the needful. Very often, as children are growing up, we shout at the service, we shout at this thing, but we say, no, you respect us. We do so many wrong things, and then you expect it from them. It doesn't happen. Having said that, there are many, many situations, but after a while, what can you do? But they have their own karmas, they have their own life. Yeah. So exactly, for Anita saying, educate and ignore. That's what she's saying in the chat. Anyway, so I carry on. So now do as well. Here again, my supremely secret word, the most esoteric of all truths. You are extremely dear to me. Therefore, I shall offer you this salutary advice. Give your mind to me, be devoted to me, worship me and bow to me. Doing so, you will come to me alone. I truly promise you, for you are exceptionally dear to me. And this is a very important mantra. I'm not doing it in Sanskrit today because it was suddenly thought of and I thought I should complete and you have learned it all. I'm recording it. So hopefully if I record it, you could read it again with your own book. So he says, you give your mind, what does it mean? Just surrender. It doesn't mean give it your mind to Krishna. Give your mind to life, to the universe. What does surrender mean? Surrender means do your best and leave the rest. Exactly. This is the lines that I have always taught and I always tried to live by. You can only do your best and then leave the rest. So what does that leaving the rest mean? It means surrender, give it to life, give it to the universe. It will do what it has to do. So give your mind to me. When you say me, it could be Krishna, it could be Christ, it could be anyone. But it basically means the universe. Give it to, surrender to life eventually. Surrender to the universe. Yeah. So give your mind to me, be devoted to me, worship me and bow to me. Doing so, you will come to me alone. I truly promise you, for you are exceptionally dear to me. Resigning all your duties to me, the all-powerful and all-supporting Lord, take refuge in me alone. I shall absolve you of all sins, worry not. Can you imagine the luck of Arjuna that Krishna is saying, tum mat chinta karo. And this is being said to all of us who listen to the Gita. It's not only to Arjuna. There is a verse in the beginning of the Gita where he says, he is the calf, but the milk is being given to all of us. So he is also telling us the same thing that is being told to Arjuna. If you give it to him, he will take care of you. Believe me, in this trip that I took 2 weeks in Dubai, 2 months I felt that Krishna was holding my hand throughout. I actually said, hold my hand. The secret gospel of the Gita should, okay, now this is very important. The secret gospel of the Gita should never be imparted to a man who lacks penance, nor to him who is wanting in devotion, nor even to him who lends not a willing ear, and in no case to him who finds fault with me. He says you have to give it to the deserving. To those who have faith in it, those who have faith in me. It is like you cannot just, that's why this cannot be forced. That's why I always say, come pure dil se. I know today I've been unfair by not giving you enough notice, because I suddenly thought of it in the morning. Otherwise, I should have told you earlier. But again, I felt that if 5 people also come, it will be those who really, really want to hear. And it's a very important day today because it is the Geeta Jayanti. And what a wonderful way to be able to. So girls, if it goes off, please come back. It means that I'm coming back. Because I'm recording, I may take a few more minutes. Sometimes it is, recording. So I may just come back slightly later, but please come back in the meantime. Yeah. Next one. So you heard that it should be only imparted to the worthy. And any scripture that you open to, do you know the first part of the scripture? They explain who is worthy of listening to the Srimad Bhagavat. Remember, those who've done the Srimad Bhagavat with me, the first chapter is who is worthy of listening to this scripture? And then they give a lot of points. So, and so, and so, and so. So they are only worthy of listening to the scripture. Okay. He who offering the highest love to me preaches the most profound gospel of the Gita among my devotees shall come to me alone. There is no doubt about it. And this, I take it, is for me. I tell him, if he doesn't take me to him, I will hold this sentence and tell him, hello, you promised this in the Gita. You promised this in the Gita. Don't you dare move your face from me. See, I repeat. He who offering the highest love to me preaches the most profound gospel of the Gita among my devotees shall come to me alone. There is no doubt about that. He has said this in the Gita. And I prefer to give it to those who are willing to listen. You know that. I never force people. I have 1 or 2 people I'm happy to do the class because I know they are willing to listen. So I shall fight with him if I don't see him waiting for me.
And he will fight with you if you don't continue teaching.
That is up to him. I've done it over 40 years. He gives me the strength, I continue. I do my best.
Whether I attend or no, you will fight it. At least the day I can, I will attend.
I tried even from America, you notice. But then daylight saving, I just couldn't continue. And even now, every Saturday we have. Anyway. Among men, there is none who does me a more loving service than he, nor shall anyone be dearer to me on the entire globe than he, than one who shares this important knowledge. Whosoever studies the sacred dialogue of ours in the form of the Gita, by him too shall I be worshipped through wisdom, sacrifice, such is my mind. Whosoever studies, so if you study even study the sacred Gita, and I tell you that even if you study it on your own, initially you may not understand it, but as you keep on reading, the scriptures reveal themselves to you. The man who hears the Holy Gita with reverence and in an uncarping spirit, liberated from sin, he too shall reach the happy worlds of the virtuous. So even those who hear with faith and with Shraddha, even that is all the promise of his. That suno, chalo suno, prem se suno. Yeah? Have you heard this gospel of the Gita with one pointed mind, Arjuna? And has your delusion born of ignorance melted away, O conqueror of riches? He said, tell me, have you listened with faith? Have you listened with Shraddha? Have you listened with Shakti to me? And has your ignorance run away? And here Arjuna says this very important mantra, Nashto moha smritir labdha tvadsat manyachyuta sitosmi satasandeha karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna said, Krishna, by your grace, my delusion has fled and wisdom has been gained by me. I stand shorn of all doubts. I will do your bidding. Now he says, Mera, moha nasht ho gaya, I'll do exactly what you say. And now Sanjay comes back to Dhritarashtra. Remember that the Gita is being said by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra, the blind king. So he says, now Sanjay said, thus I heard the mysterious and thrilling conversation between Shri Krishna and the high-souled Arjuna, son of Kunti. Now he's coming back to Dhritarashtra. Having been blessed with the divine vision by the grace of Sri Vyasa, I heard this supremely esoteric gospel from the Lord of Yoga, Sri Krishna himself, imparting it to Arjuna. Before my very eyes. And this is what Sanjay is saying, that I heard him saying this with my very eyes. I mean, I'm also blessed because I have seen it. Dhritarashtra has not seen it, but he has heard it. Remembering over and over that sacred and mystic conversation between Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Arjuna, O King, I rejoice again and yet again. This is Sanjay speaking. Remembering also again and again that most wonderful form of Shri Krishna, because he has also seen it. Remember the Virat Swarup. Great is my wonder, and I rejoice over and over. And then, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir. He says, wherever there is Bhagwan Shri Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the wielder of the Gandiva bow, goodness, victory, glory, and unfailing righteousness are there. Such is my conviction. And thus in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjun ends the 18th chapter entitled The Yoga of Liberation through the path of knowledge and self-surrender. Om Tat Sat. And as is customary, we have to start the Gita again. So I will again start the Gita just about 1 or 2 verses, because it means that we can never complete the Gita. And I shall start it with the first 1 or 2 verses, right? And then we will do
every time you listen to the Gita, you feel, oh my God, I really didn't know this. This is the first time I'm understanding.
Exactly. So now here, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dhritarashtra said, Sanjay gathered on the sacred soil of Kurukshetra, eager to fight. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Remember, this is Dhritarashtra telling Pandu that what did they do? And because he's got this vision, he is going to explain. And I very often like to think that this is really the what you call it? It is the it is like a live TV program where he's seeing, and maybe it is mute, so he's telling him what he's hearing or whatever. So I like to believe that. I have only 7 minutes left. So since I'm recording, I thought I'll quickly do the Aarti, but come back and maybe we will do a bhajan or 2 if you like, so that maybe I can complete the Aarti, and maybe the recording will also stop at this time, but do come back. Okay. So I will do a quick Aarti. Here I have the Aarti. Jai Krishna Hare, Sri Krishna Hare, Krishna Hare. Jai Krishna Hare, Sri Krishna Hare, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो. और कोई न खेवन हारा हो, तब तू ही बेड़ा पार करे, तब तू ही बेड़ा पार करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा, पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा। जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे, जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। दूर करो दुख दर्द सब, दया करो भगवान, मन मंदिर में उज्जवल हो तेरा निर्मल ज्ञान। जिस घर में हो आरती, चरण कमल चितलाय, तहाँ हरि वासा करे, ज्योत अनंत जला। जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे, बहे प्रेम दरिया, तहाँ हरि वासा करे, सत्यलोक सिया। सब कुछ दीन्हा आपने, भेंट करूं क्या नाथ, नमस्कार की भेंट धर, जोरूं मैं दोनों हाथ। शुक्र शुक्र की भेंट धर, जोरूं मैं दोनों हाथ। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। And I'm going to do Hui Varsha Amrit Ki. It's grace, grace falling over you. So I'm going to be doing it to the house outside, but Hui Varsha Amrit Ki, Hui Varsha Amrit Ki, बेसन के बुक भर के जो पीवे सो जीवे, बच जाऊंगी नाम जप के तर जाऊंगी दान करके। हुई वर्षा अमृत की, हुई वर्षा. So we have 1-2 minutes maybe, but thank you so much for coming at such a short notice. I feel completely blessed, and I have 1 minute. If whoever wants to come back, come back. Maybe we can discuss. We still have, so it'll probably stop now. So do return, and if nobody returns, well then that's it. But thank you so much. You know, it's like
No, please stop thanking us. We have to thank you. You have taken us to the other side of the river.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just God's grace. You know, it's really nothing else but God's grace.
Auntie, the grace has come to us through you today. Hari bol.
No, it was his intuition that came to me, and I said, Krishna. They say, and I've been telling Aarti, I said, Aarti, we just have probably one session. We need to do it. we need to do the Gita and complete it. So she said, maybe we do it in the mandir, or we were discussing. I said, no, maybe on Zoom I can call everyone. And somehow today,
I don't fall down at least lately.
In which to get
what better day than today?
Exactly. It was just so impromptu in the morning. And we have Sangeeta Punjabi here. She called me this morning. She used to come long ago to the class.
Years back. Years back,
yeah.
But actually, Shakun, you called me. You know that?
Did I? You heard?
When I put on my phone, I saw a message from you that Zoom suddenly Geeta and all. I said, okay, I'll go.
Okay, that's Krishna. I don't know. I didn't call
I put on the phone at a moment that your message popped up.
Okay, so then that's it. There's Krishna calling you, Maya. It's everyone.
His grace all today.
Sorry?
It's all His grace today.
Exactly.